Hello, hello, hello. It's Bethany. I'm super excited that you guys are here today. We are going to get started because it is 1 o'clock sharp. Today, just real quick for housekeeping, this is live. It's not Memorex. So if you're having trouble hearing me or seeing me, then please type something in the chat and my team will try to get to you as quickly as possible and get it resolved. But we're going to get started. I'm super excited to be here and talk about something that I love talking about, which is sales and money. And what I want to share with you is what has made many companies millions and millions of dollars. And it's not that it's a secret, it's just something that as a small business owner, we might not know, but we can absolutely leverage the same principle of how this is being leveraged for sales so we can grow and scale our business. And many of you have heard of the Pareto Principle. The Pareto Principle means 80% of your revenue, 80% of something is caused by 20% of something. So in this case, 80% of your revenue is sold to 20% of your customers. And we touched on this at an earlier session, and I had a bunch of great questions about it. So, this purpose of this session is to go really deep into how you can apply this to your business, no matter what you sell, no matter who you serve, and no matter what industry you're in. You have a super hyper focused group of customers that will pay more for whatever you do every single time. And that's what we call the 20% club. It's a club of people that are passionate and excited, and all they talk about, whether it's a hobbyist, whether it is someone that is a master of their craft or their trade, quality, paying more is nothing that they balk at. They would love to do it over and over again. And I want to give you a couple of examples. There is a 20% club in every single industry. And this is the secret. If you are focused on the people that will pay more for your products or services without a problem, then how many you have to sell, how many people you have to get in front of, all the numbers change and it's less work. So let's look at it from an airport lounge. Most of you have probably traveled through an airport, and if you're like me, you might have walked past the Delta Club or the Centurion Club. And of course, they have a little bit of privacy, but just enough that you can see in and see people are lounging with their laptops and eating snacks and getting a drink or a coffee or a tea. And you're trying to find a seat that's close to a charger that isn't being taken up by 900 people. And you pass this and you're like, wow, that's nice. 20% club. Casinos. Casinos would rather cater to their high rollers all day long. They have massive suites. The suites have staff. They have butlers, they have chefs, they have maids. That staff is dedicated to just the high rollers. They would rather cater to the high rollers that they know will spend $100,000 per game than cater to the tourist that paid $99 a night and got a steal and they're there to see a show or to go to their favorite restaurant. So it's not a majority of the hotel. It's actually a small percentage of the hotel. But if they only had those high roller suites booked, the casino would have a good night. Because I guarantee you, most of those $99 a night tourists that are traveling there might spend some money at the casino, but it is not going to be $100,000. Let's talk about airlines. Many of the airlines now there are certain airlines that have a full level of first class or premium class. I think Virgin does. I think United Arab Emirates does. And some of them have chefs. Some of them have massage sections. I mean, they would much rather sell out sleep pods or $10,000 tickets all day long than worry about everybody else in the back of the plane that paid $300 for their ticket. Again, not a huge percentage of the plane, but super important and what people focus on when they sell. Let's talk about the box seat or opera seats. If you go to a stadium or a theater house, there's premium level seating. It's more expensive. They may pay $15,000 for a season pass, and they may not even attend every game, but they absolutely would rather pay for a box seat than be in the seats in the bleachers with everybody else. So, who do you think that they're trying to sell tickets to? The people that they want to buy a box club or a box seat, or the people that pay $15 or $25 and they come one game per season and they spend $50 on a beer and a pretzel? It probably costs that much now. They would much rather cater to people that still want the same experience of going to a game or watching a game or a sporting event, but they will pay a premium. And regardless of where you are right now, whether you're starting a new business, whether you have an existing business and you're struggling to generate leads, or you're just not selling as much as you want to, wherever you are, everyone can take advantage of this secret to cater to the 20%, not cater to 100%, not saying yes to every single person. So it's time for you to figure out, how do you want to market and who do you want to sell to? And just to give you an example, this is customers. If we put this in an example of 10 customers and say you have a coffee shop, 8 of those 10 customers will pay $1 for a cup of coffee. $1. Some of them will never come back, ever. But then there's 2 customers out of those 10 people that would absolutely pay $4 for the same or similar product. Maybe they want the frothy stuff on top. Maybe they want a caramel drizzle. Maybe they want an extra shot of espresso. There's value. They are coffee people. They identify as coffee people, and they will gladly pay more for the same cup of coffee. So let's say 20 people come into your coffee shop. 16 customers will spend $1 on their coffee. And they'll love their coffee. They'll drink their coffee. They may come back a couple times, but 3 of those 20 people will spend $16. And there is 1 customer out of those 20 customers that will spend $32 at that same visit, gladly. You don't have to convince them. You might have to explain the product or answer some questions, but they're not price justifying in their mind. Should I really pay $32? Once they have their questions answered, they have no problem whipping out their wallet. Now, here's what's super exciting about this. This number just grows. It compounds. So if you want to get super, super niche focused, there's a 1% club that is just ridiculous how much money they spend. But let's just simplify it and say we're just going to focus on the 80-20 because that's easy math and I'm not going to confuse myself on live TV. Not TV, you know what I mean? So let's say 100 customers come into your coffee shop. 80 customers out of 100, 80 customers out of 100 will only spend $1 or buy your lowest price point product or service and just won't buy again. So it takes a lot of time and effort to sell someone. So if you're going to go through that time and effort to sell someone, do you want to sell to the person that's going to buy one time? Or do you want to sell to the person that you know will always buy what you have because they want that thing? They want the latest coffee. They want the latest widget. They want the latest phone. You've seen this over and over again. Prime example, People standing outside of an Apple store the night before an iPhone is released. Those are super hyper focused and passionate customers for iPhones. Who else is going to sleep in a tent on a concrete sidewalk to get a phone? They will. And you know what? There's enough of them for Apple to make a pretty good penny. So out of 100 customers, 80 of them are going to pay $1. 19 will spend $64. That's your 20%. One of those customers will spend $256. And that's actually pretty good. You have 100 customers coming in. So the challenge for you as a business owner that's marketing and selling is, who are you targeting? Who are you selling? Who are you giving 110% to every single time? And putting everything into the project, or everything into the service or the delivery, or everything into the product that you're giving them, or the box that it ships in, or the paper, or the thank you note, only for them to not ever buy again? You have to think about it. You're only one person. And as much as we try to be super, super human, we're not. So we have to decide as business owners and CEOs where to spend our time. Where is our time leveraged, and where is our time wasted? Where our time is leveraged from a sales standpoint are with my 20% of my customers that help me generate 80% of my entire company's revenue. So if that's the case, and 20% of my customers help me generate 80% of my revenue, how much could you grow if all you had were 20% customers? If all you had were the people that spend $256, you'd grow exponentially by selling the same thing, by doing what you do now, but selling it to the hyper-focused customer. So let's just look at a couple examples. Would you rather build rapport, establish a relationship, build trust, build credibility, get them to know, trust, and like you, for them to buy one time? No, none of us would. But if you know deeply who your customer is, that are the 20%, then you find more of them. So then you have one person you sell to and they buy 256. Okay, that's only 20% of your business. If you 4x or 5x that, you 4x or 5x your sales number. I don't know. I wish I could see you guys, because I get so excited, and I don't know if you're excited, but I hope you are. You have a choice. This is an example. So there's a restaurant in Tampa that, I am not a steak person, but I am a foodie. And Burns is a restaurant in Tampa that sells steak. Burns is a place that people work for life. It's been around forever. You can see like the 70s shag carpet, been around forever. If you get a job at Burns, you have to start in the garden. They grow their own vegetables, and that's where you start. It doesn't matter if you have been experienced for 30 years. Guess what? You're starting in the garden. People have to die to have an opening at Burns. So when you see servers that are like 70 years old, they come to work every day because they love it. You feel bad and you're like, oh gosh, if that was my mom, I wouldn't want her work. She loves her job. It is her life, and she identifies it. The piano player that's in the dessert bar at Burns just passed away in the last couple of years, and he was there every single night for 30 years. That's that type of place. So it's a steakhouse. So some people come to Burns just because they know of Burns and they want to experience it. Other people come to Burns because they really want to come to Burns. They are wine people, they are foodies, and Burns will give you a kitchen tour. You don't have to do it. You can just come eat a steak, or you can do the kitchen tour and you can see how they pick their meat, how they age their meat, how they decide on vegetables. You literally walk through several tours at a time through the kitchen. The servers know how to work around you, the chefs know how to cook around you. It's just incredible. And then you're escorted downstairs. And downstairs is the largest private wine collection in the world. They have wine that is so old that it's a $20,000 bottle of wine, and they give you a little sifter, like a little strainer, to pour the wine out because there's so much sediment because the wine is that old. Now, that has to be an experience because I'm sure that doesn't taste good, but people buy it and they do it. And then after you do the kitchen tour, then you go upstairs to the dessert room. The dessert room are these big barrels. It's like you're sitting in whiskey barrels or bourbon barrels, like the big barrels that they put liquor. I don't know what kind of liquor they put in it. And they're built like these barrels. And there's the piano guy, and there's a phone. You used to call your server, and you order dessert. And that ends your Burns experience. But before you leave the dessert bar, and actually when you're down in the wine cellar, they talk all about the wine and how exclusive their collection is and how they have these rare bottles. And they literally show you bottles that are 100 years old. So it's an experience. So you can sell your $30 steak to 80 people that may never come back to Burns. You'll still have a good experience. It'll still be a story that you can tell people. Or you can target the person that is going to buy a $2,500 box of wine. And it might not even be a box. It might be a bottle. Now, let's look at it from many of us, including myself, have been told, like, you got to write a book. To be trusted and credible, you have to write a book. So I wrote a book. But here's what they didn't tell me. You're not going to make any money off the book. It's just a thing you do. You spend weeks and weeks of your life grueling over this stuff only to not make any money. And that's just how books work. Unless you're someone like Stephen King or Harry Potter lady, J.K. Rowling, you're not going to make a living off of a book that you wrote to establish yourself as an expert in your craft. So, do I want to sell the book? I mean, it would be great. Am I going to spend time selling the book? Absolutely not. Even if I printed all of my own books and I shipped them out from my house, I might make $10. But what if I sold a training or a coaching or software or, but I sold that to one person, still has the same problem as the person that had the problem that bought the book, but they want to solve it faster. They have a team that they want to onboard or train or get the team to solve it. They just need support. So would I rather sell a bunch of books that I'm not going to make any money on, or would I rather sell a training or a coaching or a consulting or a project all day long? Selling 80 of anything is harder than selling one of anything. It doesn't matter what you're selling. So I just want to pause for a second. We're almost done, but I want to tell you that the goal, when we go into business, we have these dreams and these ideas and all these amazing things are going to happen. And then we get smacked with the reality that it is hard and it's a lot of work and we have to do a lot. So it might be scary, or it might feel scary to think that what I'm telling you is you have to walk away from 80% of your business. I'm not saying you have to walk away, but what I am saying is who you market and who you target and who you have sales conversations with should absolutely Be the 20%, not the 80%, not the dollar cup of coffee people. You want the coffee people that have tried a whole bunch of different beans, and they've tried a whole bunch of different blends, and they've tried all these different things, and they just like love coffee, and they could talk about coffee all day. There's enough. I don't care what market you're in. There's enough of 20% for every single person here. Doesn't matter the business, doesn't matter the product, doesn't matter the person. There is always a hyper-focused market in everything. Pick anything. Legos. I didn't even know until my children were older. There's an adult category of Legos. I thought Legos were for kids. Who knew? There's a whole group of people that are Lego fans. Star Wars. Like, pick a thing. And I guarantee you that there are people that are fans, avid, raving, almost so passionate. It's scary, that will pay more. Who are those people for your market? Because they're out there, and you might have them as customers already. So if you do, and if you've been in business for a while and you have customers, who are your go-to customers? So I have a link to a download that I'm going to share with you. And this is an easy way for you to either identify who your market is or who your target should be, or looking at your current customers and assessing who those customers are. So this is just, you can do this based on their demographic, based on your target audience's psychographic, the problem that you're trying to solve, the industry that they're in. If you serve many different industries, maybe there's certain industries that just, they're easier to work with. They're easier to sell. They're not a pain like some other people. We all have certain people that we've worked with that we're like, you couldn't pay me enough to do this. Like, you just couldn't. There's not enough money in the world for me to work with you again. So this is your opportunity to take some time. If you like, grab some tea, grab your favorite adult beverage of choice, and go sit outside and sit with this. If you have a CRM or you have a customer database, look at it. Who spends the most money with you? Is there anything common about them? Excuse me. Is there anything different? What's a pattern? And just know that it could be anything. So go into it with an open mind of figuring out, like, who is this person? So here's an example. And in this example, I just did it based on 3 different things. So startups, a mature business, and a young business. There's certain things about startups that are fun and cool. There are other things that aren't so fun and cool. And I want to see, are they easy to sell to? Do I enjoy working with them? And if the answer is no, great. Know that and don't work with people like that. Is this a repeat buyer? Is this someone that you know will buy over and over again? Do they refer business to you? And can you count on them? Like, these are just, so you can make your own matrix. This doesn't have to be your things to determine it, but it makes my life so much easier if the people that I work with are fun to work with, and they're accountable, and they're driven, and they're coachable. All of those things matter to me. So what matters to you? Make that matrix if you want to. Cross out mine and make your own. Now, the last thing I want you to figure out is, what is the customer lifetime value? On average, if I look at startups, God, startups never have money. They always have to like figure out where they're going to find the money. And I always hear like, wow, this is the most I've ever spent on my business. That's too much stress for me. So that's not good for me. A mature business might have had success and might have great people, but sometimes they're like, I've already tried that. I've already done that. I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. And that's just not the best fit for me. But then a young business, or a business that's like kind of in this middle phase where they're still hungry, they're still driving, they're still trying to get things done, and they're open. They're fun to work with. They're easy to sell to because they feel the pain. Like they are not comfortable. They are trying to get sales and they're repeat buyers. And I know I can count on them. Now, maybe they don't check all the boxes, but you can see there's a difference between what one trait is versus 3 or 4 or 5. I wouldn't make this overly complex. You can just draw this on a sheet of paper and put the attributes or the traits that are important to you or that have shown up as patterns. Here's another example. If you sell to women or consumers and you're like, yeah, they're women. Okay. I challenge you to go a little bit deeper. Are they young working women? Are they school aged women? They're college students. Are they baby boomers? Are they older, mature adults? Or are they like in this middle stage of life where maybe they're very career focused or maybe they're starting to have a family? But I challenge you because sometimes people say, I serve moms. That's vague. But if you say, I help moms of kids with picky eaters that are trying to instill healthy habits in their kids, that are one fight away from calling it quits and going to Chick-fil-A because they're tired of the battle, that's your person. So that's the detail that I want you to have. What are the emotions? What are the pain? What are the problems that you're trying to solve? If you want to go deeper in this, we're wrapping up. If you have any questions, post them in the comments so I can respond to them. I'm only looking up because I literally have like a gazillion screens open. So this is a book that if you want to go deeper, it's the 80-20 rule of sales and marketing. It will help you understand where you could be focusing, where maybe you haven't even considered focusing when it comes to your sales and marketing. And it is by Perry Marshall. It is on Audible, or you can just buy the book. And if you're a book person and you want to read it and you like to highlight and dog ear and make notes, then get the book. But if you are busy and you're on the run and you would love to read it, but you don't have time, then get the Audible because we're all in the car for something. So I am sure you can find the time to listen. And you can do that when you're doing whatever. So you can do that while you're washing dishes, while you're straightening up. Like just get it and start to listen. So my homework for you and what I want you to do is I want you to take action and commit that you're going to take action. We're going to add the link in the chat. So you should be able to see it. It's on the website. And if you have not attended the other live sessions, this is session 6. We're going to do this for 4 more weeks. This is the best stuff that I have to give you. And I'm giving you templates for everything. If you missed the other sessions, not a biggie. Just go to the site and you'll see the past sessions. There's a replay for all of them. There's templates for all of them. And yes, there's books for all of them. But guess what? We don't know these things. And we don't know what we don't know. So if you can get one nugget or one thing from this, and it shifts your business, or it makes things easier, or it helps you grow, that's all I want. That's my hope for you. If you have any questions, my contact information is here. We're connected somehow, so you can always find me, but you can go to the website, download the template, make your own template, make it whatever makes the most sense for you. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day. Bye.